You don't know, you're one in a million. Good life. Be with me, baby.
Hey you, you're the sweet and hot, so fresh like bread and butter. With some nails and lights like bread, yo. Yeah, we tell them.
She's an acclaimed interdisciplinary media artist with 25 years experience. So her artwork spans experimental film, documentary filmmaking, digital installation, multimedia performance art, of which I have seen quite a bit and just been awed by. Interactive web design, things that I don't even understand, like geocaching, interactive gaming, just really endless possibilities, and not to mention mentoring scores and scores of other artists. There are probably many of our colleagues who could thank Cease Wyss for teaching art practice. So in balance with her innovative art practice is her work as an Indigenous plant specialist.
I've always wanted to sit up like this. I feel like you're a true poet, or I don't know, beat poet or something. I'm honing in the 60s here. Yeah. So Chok Mahat, Zielinsiai, Toitstanat Nas. Welcome everybody, shared lands and waters of this Omish Ol, Ochamea, the Stalo, the Tuslewatu, the Homafriam. It's really unhap and swallowing. It lifts my heart to be here. I was sharing with Amber Dawn how I know it's the Heartwood Cafe, but it's also got this kind of ongoing history of being a really great gathering place that has been run by amazing women, and and I think about all the great times that Rhizome provided here, and the many ways that it has supported the work I've done in the community in so many ways, and I'll try to fit all these stories into half an hour, and I feel very loved today. We did a partnership with our community garden, which is in North Vancouver, a little east of the Lionsgate Bridge, in a place we call Hamulchitson. And Hamulchitson is a village where we have a big community living in an urban setting, but we're all very, we try to be as traditional as we can, but we're in a big urban setting. And then, there's a lot of people that are silently impoverished in a community that's often viewed in the wrong way as, a lot of people believe this Squamish, Ochamea, the Squamish people are rich. And, there's always an us and them, right? There's a lot of people that go without food, a lot of people that go without homes in our community. And because I've been working passionately over several years around Vancouver, especially in the food security movement, including projects like what is now called the Tuwush program, but even before Dawn came on board, it was like, and Dawn helped, my friend Dawn is here today, and she helped facilitate getting that to become a named project. We put an Indigenous name on an Indigenous program. I got asked about 15 or 16 years ago by Vancouver Native Health Society and by the UBC Farm, and at that time Kamala Todd, who's First Nations, and she was the Aboriginal Social Planner for the City of Vancouver, brought us all together and said we have to create a food program for people in the city. So we did at UBC Farm. So it became the Urban Aboriginal Community Kitchen Garden Project, really lengthy, and it didn't even have a good, it was like Uakabuk, And some people thought that was like a native word, or like an acronym that doesn't make sense. It needs a real name, so we did that. And I had previously, just before that, helped plant an indigenous herbal garden with a bunch of women that were both students and academics at UBC teaching there. And so we built a big herb garden. Then we started talking about building this kitchen garden project. The Homafriam people had a plot there that they weren't using. They wanted to keep that plot existing, so they agreed and all these things came into play. A lot of people were part of it. And many elders that got to be connected with their families, from people randomly showing up and meeting people and realizing they're related, interrelated. So it really morphed and became a life of its own and became a really great project. And then other projects spurred from that. I did a program where I helped people learn how to get into community gardens. So a lot of Indigenous people haven't used community gardens across the city, so I helped, I actually helped start and build and conceive with the community the Cedar Cottage Garden, and that was really exciting because it's huge now. It started with a little plot, turned into a really great community project that has a life of its own too. So through all these things I've done, I was asked when my daughter was very young to work at UBC, and I'm like, well, you can only pay me $12 an hour, you can only have me 2 days a week, and as much as I don't want to say this, I'm going to stay on welfare. I was temporarily on welfare, and I went back to my teas. So every time I've slipped away from the tea, I get poor. I go back to the teas, I'm not rich, but I pay my bills, there's food on the table, I'm out on the land, I'm picking, it's like my nature yoga, I guess, because I'm picking and I'm using parts of my body that I need to use. From when my daughter was a baby on my back, in my little backpack, I was out there doing it, and I'm kind of looking forward to being a grandma and throwing her baby on my back and going out in the woods and picking things and continuing that, But yeah, when it came time for our garden in the community, it didn't take long to put our elders on board, and they researched all these projects I've been a part of, and they were like, oh, this community gardening sounds really cool. And he would bring my mother up there and carry her over waterways and stuff, and little photo bombs of them out in the forest. I'm like, my mom never goes in the forest. What have you done to my mother? It's great, keep doing it. But the two of them managed to get things like giant logs that used to be on the beach at Ambleside into our little community garden, so we could have nurse logs that we could build, and helped us get Indigenous plants, let my daughter and her boyfriend and all his siblings operate the little backhoes in there, and I was like, okay, I won't look. But it was great to see these teenagers operating big heavy equipment and being mentored, and then seeing the land develop and grow. And then once they kind of saw all the groovy things they could do, we got back to composting. And, right, we really have to make them love composting, because if we don't compost, we won't have earth. And I just kept repeating this, and people are probably going, so composting is a good thing then, right? I'm like, yes, it's a very good thing. A journey with this amazing piece of land. We started going into the forest that is just south of Welsh and Matthias and Welsh and Capilano roads. Kind of between Capilano Road and where the Lionsgate Bridge is, and there's a whole village in there of sweat lodges and ceremonial places. And a lot of people, and now we have the spirit trail, and everybody keeps the spirit trail clean, which is great, but it's been a problem for the last 20 years, probably longer, that people dump garbage in what I call our spirit trail. And it's not just, a bag of garbage, it's hot tubs, televisions. There was a pharmacy in Surrey that was throwing empty meth bottles into a pile next to the railway tracks 10 feet from a lodge. So these are all things that, really madden me, because we'd be coming over the bridge and I'd look down and I could see that. I could see a, 60-foot screen broken in the forest. I couldn't miss that, right? But those are the things that have continued to propel me to keep doing that, and it'll be like something I keep working at, and getting the community on board and getting them to love, that forest, love our community garden, bring their kids there, a beautiful $10,000 greenhouse. So we have a greenhouse and some really amazing program at UBC. Started talking to my mom and developed a course that ran for a year and a half through our garden, where we brought different people in to do hands-on experiential learning. They brought medicines and foods to our garden that I'd only actually ever seen in books. So I literally the day they drive up with the first of 2 truckloads of these plants, I just started bawling my eyes out. And my friend Paul was like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Look," and he's like, "What?" Oh, the plants." I'm like, "I know, I've never seen some of these, and here they are coming into our garden." And they helped us build a pond to put our oldest food in there that we've cultivated, that we've lost in these lands and waters, which is wapato, wild potato. They helped us grow camas. So these are all old food systems that a lot of our people don't even know about. So just decolonizing that earth, and to let you know where we are in that community, that for about 25 or 30 years, it was a golf driving range. And so it was sand, and it was originally the bottom of it was the riverbed of the Capilano River system. So if you look on a map, you see that it comes down and goes over, and then goes over this way. So it doesn't go straight. And you don't notice it because it's a residential zone now, but if you go into the forest I was talking about, you're kind of walking and all of a sudden the floor of the forest dips down and it's all really rocky, and you're like, "What's going on here?" Oh, that was the riverbed over there, and there's a bunch of sweat lodges, and it's really amazing because you see how that land has that memory, and you see the indigenous medicines, and you see, you just feel it. And that's how I grew up. I grew up canning vegetables, going on road trips to the Okanagan to get, boxes of fruit, and then we'd come back and divide it. We'd do our canning together, preserving foods. We'd go salmon fishing together in different parts of the river systems. And, and just making that a family production. Okay, it's canning season, get a long table out. And my dad was a butcher, and he could really cut up fish and meat really fast, and it kind of blew our family's mind at how fast he could sharpen knives and fillet salmon and chop it up, throw it in a can. We're canning it. We're all participating, and that's stuff that really just, I don't know, those are my best memories, to be engaged in that with many generations, making food, preserving it, taking out something that you did in the summer, in the middle of winter, and eating that, knowing the stories that went into that. I feel that the work I do in teaching medicines and taking people in the forest isn't to encourage everybody to go out and forage, but rather to become stewards of the land and realize how delicate our local forests are. We're really blessed. In the places I've been in this country and other places, we're really blessed to have green space here, and that indigenous foods and medicines exist here with us. And I'm always stunned at how many people actually really know quite a bit about the land and the forest. I think community is whatever we define it. We all have our hurdles, and we have the things that propel us, like I think eating in isolation is a very sad reality of this city and of my community. And to have a day like this where you come and you hang out and share a meal, you talk to each other, you have a speaker come up, you're socializing, then you get to write together. Oh my God, how exciting. And that's all medicine to me. That's all to me how we keep ourselves well, and all of it is nourishing. It's not just the socialization, but it's that feeling. We all walk away with some endorphins going on in our minds from interacting and enjoying the nourishing food and peace. So I want to say hi to